Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Great to have you back with me here today. Hope you tuned in yesterday to part one of our Cabral HouseCalls, where we answer our community questions each and every weekend. It feels like I get to basically step through on this microphone right into your home and try to answer your questions, or at least our community questions, from all around the world that have come in over the past couple months. We answered about 8 questions or so yesterday, hoping to get through somewhere around the same today. Some of them are a little longer today, so they might take a little bit longer to read, but we will always do our best. These ones are coming in from January 17th and January 18th and January 19th. Maybe we get to January 20th, but they always are answered in the order they come in. If you asked your question after January 19th or so, it's coming. We answer these questions, like I said, as they come in each and every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, a service I'm happy to provide. If you'd like your question answered at a faster rate, simply ask it right over at cabralsupportgroup.com. That's our private Facebook group, and we are happy to answer your question there. All right, let's dive into the questions. First question's from Sydney. Hey, Dr. Cabral, thank you for doing your dharma. Thank you. Appreciate that, Sydney. Your podcast and IHP have quite literally changed my life, my family's life, my community's, and my clients' lives. However, I have a family friend that's just been diagnosed with abestosis, which he got from a job he worked in his early 30s. Conventional medicine hasn't been able to help him in any way, but I feel like there has to be a way. I've done some research, and all I found is high doses of vitamin C and omega-3 can be helpful. I'm not sure if this is true or if there's anything that can be done. Just wondering if there's anything you know that can help. Thank you so much, Doc. Sid. All right, Sid, I'm going to give you my best. I certainly am not an expert, and I'll always tell you that. I'm not an expert in those people affected with the inhalation. Typically, it's inhalation of asbestos. Now, we just give it a fancy medical name, and we call it abestosis, but really what it is, and typically this is not something that most people have to deal with anymore. And the reason is that for the most part, it's been outlawed using asbestos as an insulation. However, what happens though is these asbestos fibers, think of it almost like fiberglass, if you know what fiberglass fibers are, and they actually lodge themselves into your lungs, and they can create scar tissue. So there's only a couple things, because I haven't worked with a ton of people with this, but what we use are something called proteolytic enzymes. So we use enzymes away from meals, upon waking and before bed. And they contain serrapeptase, they contain high levels of protease, they can contain nattokinase, but what we're doing is we're looking to go in and eat up a lot of the scar tissue, which is making the lungs, they're not as pliable. They're not able to blow up and deflate as easily because they're scarred, right? So I also recommend detox. Get your body to try to eliminate this in as healthy way as possible. Work with his doctors, because he has to work with his doctors, to say how much exercise can I do so that I can get the lungs to try to break up some of the scar tissue on their own. They have to be used, right? So there has to be some type of huffing and puffing through the lungs that can be used. I also recommend sauna work as well. The proteolytic enzymes, the sauna, love the vitamin C recommendation. Omega-3s, absolutely. Omega-3 support is great. Not super high dose because it can act as a blood thinner as well. The vitamin C is great. The detoxing is great. And of course, I would get on predominantly plant-based diet, but I would get on something like our foundational protocol level 3 in order to get everything the body needs. Maybe even just level 2 if he doesn't want the digestive enzymes, because he'll be using proteolytic enzymes upon waking and before bed. So Sydney, keep on doing your research, keep on pushing forward, and I have no doubt you're going to be able to help your friend, and so much so that they'll be far better off working with you than had they try to go this alone. Okay, Marco's up next. Marco says, hi, Dr. Ball. I have a few questions. Have you ever heard of someone being allergic or sensitive to denatured proteins? I'm Caucasian male in my early 30s. Problem started happening 4 years ago. It happened when I ate overcooked meats from any type of animal. I also have the same reaction to sharp cheeses and yogurt, Greek more than others. I eat other types of cheese and feta will react. Liquid dairy is no issue. Eggs cause the reaction if the yolk is solid. I can eat 3 raw eggs with no issue, but if hard-boiled eggs, the same thing can happen. I can eat rare steak, but if it's cooked, I react. The most intense and immediate sign is redness and heat on my cheeks, and I have a general sort of inflammatory response. When this happens, I stop eating, so I don't know how bad the reaction would be if I kept going. I've tried looking into relevant literature, most information about people being allergic to uncooked foods. I've explored the exogenous histamine hypothesis, but only a couple things on the histamine list cause problems for me. I've never had this reaction to any vegetable, raw or fermented. Can cooking food increase histamine content? Thanks for all your hard work. Changing lives. You're the best. Okay, Marco. So again, this is one of those more rare reactions because I agree. Most reactions will happen to someone when the food is typically when it hasn't been broken down. When things are broken down, it's easier for the body to typically absorb. You've done a lot of the breaking down first. However, I have seen a couple cases of this. What we've noticed it more to be is a lack of enzymes. So remember, think of it this way. Whenever you eat a food that has been cooked, all the enzymes have been cooked out of it. Now, is this super rare? Of course, it's rare. I would love to see you use something like betaine HCl, which isn't enzymes, plus pepsin, which acts more like an enzyme, but that you use 2 to 3 of the daily digestive support enzyme. And the reason I'm mentioning that, although you can never get a natural enzyme, back into the food itself, those enzymes taken before the meal can actually help you to break them down to a better degree. Cut right to the chase. Marco, sometimes when a food is cooked, for some people, it would actually be more difficult to break down. And the reason is that the protein is denatured, that it's not as natural as what the body would see it. Technically, it's not the same breaking it down in your stomach as it would grilling it or eating a food such as that. My opinion is this. I would do a food elimination of the foods that you can't handle right now. I would love to see you do some gut testing to see if there is any H. pylori, which does not do great with a lot of the heavier proteins. And you can find that out by doing a stool test. So that's the first place I would start. And then me personally, I would look to use those enzymes as well. But first I would do a food elimination of at least 6 weeks to remove those heavier foods as well, especially since we don't need to be eating a lot of those. I'd be interested to see, you say you do well with the more of the liquid form, the easier cooked eggs, the dairy. I'm wondering if you could eat fish, if that would be easier for you to eat. So I can't give you a straight answer, but honestly, you could figure this out, in my opinion, by doing about 6 different tests and trials. So not lab tests. The stool test is, of course, the first I'm going to go with. If you would do a second one, it would be the organic acids test. But I would try it with enzymes first. And then if that helped, meaning if you didn't have a reaction when using 2 to 3 enzymes and betaine HCl with pepsin, then I would simply say this, okay, just lack of digestive strength right there. That's the bottom line. The next thing that I would do is I would do the elimination of these foods and then slowly just reintroduce them, just see how that works for the body. I'd already told you to check for the H. pylori in the first place. And then I would continue to explore the histamine. This sounds like a histamine reaction. I agree that it's difficult, right? But remember, cytokines or histamines can be produced not just by the histamines in foods themselves, although cooking a food can increase histamines. If there's any charcoal or anything like that, or it's been smoked, that will absolutely increase histamines as well. So a number of reasons why. I know that you can figure it out. Keep working through these and you'll get this. No doubt about it. You'll get this. All right. Ethan is up next. I'm a family nurse practitioner and would like to take the Integrative Health Practitioner course. I'd like to start implementing more natural approaches for patients as conventional medicine is not as effective as I would like it to be. When is the next sign up for the course? And can I get on the early list? Thanks for everything you do, Ethan. Ethan, appreciate you writing in. And we allow 100 new people in every time we open. We open every 1 to 2 months typically. At least that's what we're doing right now. And you can just go to integrativehealthpractitioner.org, integrativehealthpractitioner.org. Click the button at the top and it will say get notified, and that will put you on the early bird waiting list. We typically sell out of all available openings within about 2 days to 3 days. So if you are interested, we'll be opening this coming Monday, April 1st, Ethan. So hopefully you get this. We, of course, would love to have you. as part of the group. It's one of the most amazing communities I've ever been a part of. I'm grateful to be a part of it. And that is because we have practitioners from all over the world. Some have zero experience in health coaching. Some are just looking to learn for themselves and for their family and for their community. Some people are looking to learn as a first-time health coach, no experience in the field. That's great as well. And they want to either start part-time health coaching or full-time. And then we have a lot of people that also have an abundant of experience, and they're doctors, medical doctors, nurse practitioners, acupuncturists, etc. So we welcome one and all. So we'd love to have you, Ethan, this coming Monday, April 1st. Noel Ween is up next, Nolween. Hi, Dr. Ball. I discovered after a food intolerance test that I have multiple intolerances, including Candida. I believe it is due to leaky gut and Candida, and I've been working on resolving this. However, it's been a year and I still can't manage to intake probiotics or fermented foods without any side effects. Question, is yeast intolerance a real thing, lasting intolerance? Is it usually temporary Candida overgrowth? What can I do to improve this? Equilibrium tests such as a stool test cannot be done from France, where I live. I am struggling to find available tests locally. How can I get those tests done? It would be great to have a partnership with labs internationally. P.S. Loved your book, The Rain Barrel Effect. Thanks a million, Nolween. So we can absolutely ship the organic acids test to you in France. So we would be happy to do this. Two countries giving us a lot of problems right now on supplements are actually Germany and Spain. So we're working, remember, we're one of the first, if not the first company, and we're really not a company. We're a health practice that gets these labs to people all over the world and supplements. We're doing our best. Some countries are being very difficult. But I know for sure we could ship you the urine test, which would give you the Candida overgrowth numbers. So if you've been on a Candida protocol for a year, then that just means that it's not the protocol that's working for you. It's just not going to work. Our Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol lasts exactly 12 weeks. And then after that, you seal up the gut wall after that, and you'll be able to then begin slowly adding more probiotics and fermented foods into your diet. But keep in mind, some people just don't do great with a lot of fermented foods, myself being one of them. So I can eat some fermented foods, but I can't take down a half a jar of, fermented cabbage, sauerkraut, anything. But that doesn't mean that you need to, meaning like fermented foods, the inability to eat them or eat them in the first place doesn't make you necessarily healthier. So don't necessarily fall for that myth either. However, we should be getting in some good probiotics, so you should be able to do that. All right. So hopefully that helped. Sarah's up next. Hello, the detox program was recommended to me to help heal Hashimoto's and lose weight. That has been stuck for a couple of years. I'm very keen to try it as I know someone who had great success with a detox. I am, however, disappointed to see sugar as an ingredient in the smoothie. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. Having been involved with health for over 28 years and have not consumed sugar for many years, why on earth would I want to consume it during a detox when there is so much evidence that sugar negatively affects the brain and body? Why would you make this an ingredient in such an otherwise beautiful product? Why not use monk fruit? Well, the reason is, Sarah, the organic sugar that we put in is the same exact thing as the sugar and monk fruit that you're getting. There's not a difference when we're getting it from a natural-based sugar, just like monk fruit, or we would be getting it from this organic sugar cane as well. So I know that like some people get upset there's literally 2 grams of sugar. So first of all, it's going to have zero impact on your blood sugar. Even diabetics can have up to 8 grams of sugar without affecting their overall blood sugar. And that's because it's not going to spike the blood sugar above 100. So I appreciate your concern, Sarah, but keep in mind, every single literally microgram was formulated during this. And so whether it's monk fruit or whether it's organic sugar or whether it is lohan or it's another type of sugar, the bottom line is we're getting almost nothing and it would have the same exact effect. And monk fruit is not something I want to put in my detox because sometimes it doesn't react well for a lot of people because monk fruit is not a fruit or something that a lot of people would be eating. But even keep in mind, nobody would be eating the monk fruit. All it would be an extract of monk fruit, which is the sugar. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, is that first of all, there's a tiny bit of sugar in the detox, which is the daily nutritional support shake, because you can't drink a protein powder by itself. You cannot take down a protein powder that's all natural because of its bitterness. So in order to be able to do something to get those amino acids in your body, You have to flavor it. We do a tiny bit of organic sugar, and then we do a tiny bit of stevia leaf extract. That's it. And I mean, hands down, it's the healthiest one that you can get. If there was any way to make that healthier, Sarah, I would absolutely do that for you. So hopefully I've answered your question. But of course, we're a functional medicine practice. I mean, this is all based on research. We're here to help. And so we would never do anything, of course, to want to harm you. But I appreciate you writing in, and I'm happy to answer the question. I really am. I have no problem at all answering questions like that. And I actually enjoy answering them. So anybody who has questions, always please feel free to write in. But, again, at the end of the day, do keep in mind that we really are strict about this practice and everything's been overseen. Okay, Haley's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Do you have any resources on Sojourn's disease that you'd recommend? Or do you have any podcasts on Sojourn's? I taped it into the search bar and there were 0 results, but I thought I'd double check. My husband's grandma suffered from extreme sensitivity to heat and light. She gets physically ill, in and out of the sun for too long. She's been diagnosed with colitis, severe gluten intolerance, and is on medication for high blood pressure and cholesterol, has chronic back pain, and most recently diagnosed with Sojourn's. She has multiple stool tests done, and the test has told me that her doctors say there's nothing they can do besides help her symptoms. Sorry for all the information, but that's all I have to go off of. Any guidance would be greatly appreciated. I'm a nutrition coach and a personal trainer, so I do have knowledge in health and wellness space, and I'm currently having her map out all the things that she eats and journal the symptoms, but I need more. Thank you so much for any help you can offer. All right, Haley, I'm happy to answer this question, and I actually appreciate you giving me more of the background and data, because most people never end up with Sojourn's. For those people who don't know what Sojourn's is, you have to understand, it affects the mucous membrane, so the saliva secreting glands, typically in the eyes and the mouth, and there's decreased tear production, there's dry mouth. But usually this is always because someone's been on some type of medication for quite some time. Often it's some type of biological-based drug, or they've been on Prilosec, or they've been on some drug for a while that's having a side effect, such as Sojourn's. But you just told me she's on all sorts of different things. She has colitis, she has gluten intolerance, she has high blood pressure, she has high cholesterol. So what we need to do is not, again, I know I don't want to be insensitive to this, but we can't start with the Sojourn's. The Sojourn's is a symptom. Forget about the special name that it's given and think of it as dry mouth, dry eyes, and we have a real issue with the secretory membranes that are secreting the moisture. But here's the other thing. Okay, so a lot of people I've worked with Sojourn's typically have rheumatoid arthritis. And then they've been given an autoimmune disease, okay? And they're put on some type of biological-based drug. I don't want to name them because then, it talks negatively of a different company, but a lot of you know them for autoimmune-based issues, sometimes colitis and sometimes Crohn's and rheumatoid arthritis and Hashimoto's and sarcoidosis, etc. Then one of the side effects seems to be this. So sometimes it's reversible, sometimes it's not. What we need to do, though, is figure out why your grandma, I believe it was your grandma, your husband's grandma, has all these issues. And you have a great background in nutrition and personal training. We need to read that book, give her that book called The De-Stress Protocol. We need to go through the diet, the exercise, the stress reduction, the toxin removal. We need to go through the emotional balance. We need to go through the supplement protocols. We need to go through the success mindset. And I believe I left out the rest there as well. So here's what we should do. So you've run a bunch of labs through conventional medicine. I can't recommend enough running the main test, the Big 5 test, if possible, through equilibriumnutrition.com, or you can run them with a local practitioner, but we need to run what's really going on with the body. We need to look at the overall digestive function with a food sensitivity test, with an organic acids test, with a stool test. We need to look at omega-3 levels for inflammation. We need to look at hair tissue mineral analysis for overall minerals and heavy metals in the body, and stress levels on the electrolytes. And then we need to look at the thyroid adrenal hormone to look at vitamin D, to look at cortisol levels, etc. Now, you don't have to run them all, but if you can run them all, of course, that would be great. That is absolutely what I recommend. And at least through, it may have ended this morning, but at equilibriumnutrition.com, we were doing a pop-up offer for 10% off all of those labs. I can't recommend that enough. It may already be over, so I apologize ahead of time if you're listening to this a little later after it's over. You would find out just by clicking the labs tab. But remember, we offer them. We offer our recommendations. We offer our personalized wellness protocols for people, our reviews, our coaching call. Everything comes with them. But you're always welcome to recommend them or work with a local practitioner as well. My job is to get you the information. What you do with it is up to you. If you want to work with someone locally, that's fantastic. I have no problem with that. I think it's great. Or if you want to work with us virtually through Skype and by us sending the labs to you, basically in 19 different countries, we can do that too. What I need to do, though, is try to open source this information for everyone. And that's why I ask you, if this information has been helpful, to always pass it along to someone else. Just share the information. They don't need to do a lab. They don't need to do a protocol, whatever it might be. It might not even be the right time for them. But what they need to do is hear the information so that they know that there is an alternative. That there is an alternative beyond drugs, beyond pharmaceuticals, beyond medication, that you actually can rebalance the body. Because when it comes right down to it, our disease-based model is all based off of symptoms. Dry eyes, dry mouth, joint pain, thyroid-based inflammation, etc. What we need to look at is what caused those things in the first place. High blood pressure, high cholesterol. We're all talking about those are symptoms. They're symptoms that were caused by something else. Your husband's grandma didn't have those when they were 7 years old. So why did they happen when they were 40, 50, 60, whatever it might be? The reason is that there was some type of underlying deficiency and there was some type of underlying toxicity that caused root cause-based issues. So that's what we look to discover. And I'll spend the rest of my life preaching this message, trying to help other people heal. So that is it. My voice says it's now time to rest. So I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to listen to my voice. I'm going to give it a rest. And I'll be back tomorrow, of course, with our Mindset and Motivation Monday podcast. I do hope you tune in. I hope you've had a great weekend, and I will talk with you soon. Take care. Thanks so much for just tuning into the Cabral Concept. I appreciate you as always. And for the next 3 days, we have a brand new beauty bundle debuting. This is how to create healthy, glowing skin from the inside out. So many of us use external serums and creams, and I don't have a problem with those as well. A lot of them are bountiful in antioxidants. We absolutely do want them, but the issue is we're oftentimes trying to combat internal issues. We're trying to squelch free radicals from the outside in when really we need to be doing that from the inside out. What we need to do is build up our collagen. We need to build up our reserves, be a little bit more anabolic, and have the hormones and decrease the inflammation, what leads to the wrinkles, the fine lines, the poor skin, the age spots, etc. So one of the things that my wife and I both do is we use the advanced collagen support on a daily basis. Now remember, a lot of these things are super easy to do. I put a scoop in my shake every morning. I don't make my life complicated. A lot of people make different teas and things like that. All of that's fine to do as well. But for me, I make one big super shake, super smoothie in the morning, and I put a lot of my powders and my functional medicine-based formulas right in that. It makes it easy. I like to keep life simple. The other thing that I've been doing now for about 5 years is use my full spectrum vitamin C. Full spectrum vitamin C is an Ayurvedic blend. The beauty, the wisdom of Ayurveda combined with functional-based medicine. That's absolutely fantastic. I take one at breakfast. I take one at dinner. It's simple. I have my little supplement box, the same one that's over on the lifestyle items at Equilibrium Nutrition. That's the same one I use. And the last one is balancing. I take one capsule with dinner. That's it. So now I'm getting all of the antioxidants and vitamin C that help squelch all the free radicals that can lead to the age spots, that can lead to the fine lines and wrinkles and crow's feet and all of those other things that we talk about, right? And I use the zinc for strength of hair, strength of the skin, and the overall tissues of the body, and to build anabolism, to build the strong anti-aging hormones in the body. And then collagen support because it begins to decline after the age of 30. And if you are 30 or older, this is a product that will help you to start to turn back time. It's to give you more of those foundational based supports that your skin, your muscles, your ligaments, your tendons, everything needs in order to stay healthy and supple. So what we did was, these are products that we've had now for many years. But what we've done is we've combined them into one bundle called the Beauty Bundle. And for the next 3 days, we're offering some great saving discounts. I believe it's $10 off. That's not my specialty yet. I don't handle all of the sales and great promos that over at equilibriumnutrition.com. But what I do is I formulate all of these products. So I know that they're going to be up to your standards, your high standards, which they should be, and your family. So head on over to equilibriumnutrition.com and you will find a banner while supplies last and while this offer is going on. to save on those 3 products for less than $100. I believe it's all 3 for $99, which is a great deal. Thanks, everyone. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.